listen.
Here's a little story about heaven and hell. When heaven went to school, yo, hell went to jail. It really didn't matter cause they both was niggas. If heaven drove the car, hell pulled the trigger. They popped up on the scene in 1979. That's the day they first got a taste for power and crime. Heaven had an AK and hell had a 9. And if you stepped in their way, you better believe they blow your mind. They started off small, but they ended up big. Robbing the liquor store would be their first fucking gig. The guns was loaded and they ready to score. Picked up the bag with the heat and they bust through the fucking door. Nobody move and nobody get sprayed. Hell jumped on the counter with a motherfucking gauge. Get on the floor and your baby grab the loot. Anybody blinking out and I'll be forced to shoot. Walking out slowly back to back, a bitch in the nigga with the gas is here to fucking lit for a $3,000 sack. They get the job and the money was gone, and now the story of heaven and hell is finally on. Here's a little word. Here's a little story about heaven and hell. Here's a little word. Here's a little story about heaven and hell. Now the heist went alright, but hell started acting funny. He did most of the work, so we wanted most of the money. He wasn't no fucking dummy, yeah, that nigga was true. He gave a 9 to heaven and said, let's see what you can do. She grabbed the gun, walked out and said, let's have some fun. There's a lot of stores out there, motherfucker, just pick one. The car stopped and she cocked the Glock. Give me 60 seconds on the clock, nigga, drive around the block. Close the door of the ride as she quickly ran inside. Don't make this 211 a motherfucking homicide. Close your eyes and keep your head planted, face out on the floor. Grab a bitch from behind the counter and go lock the door. I'm poor, but I'm about to be rich. And if you wanna live, you don't ever wanna fuck with me, bitch. Cause I'm quick to use the mag, so just fill up the bag. Hoping you still be breathing when I'm leaving out the door. I hope that you know, do what I say when I appear. It's 1979 and heaven and hell was here. I hope you know, do what I say when I appear. It's 1979 and heaven and hell was here. Here's a little word. Here's a little story about heaven and hell. Here's a little word. Here's a little story about heaven and hell. Now the story of heaven and hell is bound to continue. There's an all-you-can-eat dinner when money's on the menu. They begin to put their next plan in effect. They will hit the first national bank before the people got their checks, gaining respect. In the TVs, in the papers, became national heroes for pulling off impossible cases. No hesitation, ain't no room for mistakes. If you happen to lose your life, motherfucker, that's the brakes. That's what it takes for everything to go as planned. With time ticking down, they getting ready in the back of a van. Bag in hand, got on hip, and a couple of clips. Walk in the bank and hit the motherfucking light switch. Cover the cameras, give me the money, they start rambling. When you dealing with heaven and hell, your life is a gamble. So if you ever think you wanna be brave, you need to shut the fuck up before they put you to your grave. Because here's a little word. Here's a little story about heaven and hell. Here's a little word. Here's a little story about heaven and hell. Here's a little word. Here's a little story about heaven and hell. Here's a little story about heaven and hell. Heaven and hell.
We gotta get this money.
Trying to get it.
If you ain't understanding it, then you probably ain't from where I'm from. You know what I'm saying?
Grab them gats. Grab them bags.
Sometimes you gotta grab the tools to go to work.
Get that shit.
In Detroit, we go to work.
We bout money.
So if you don't understand the concept,
Get your ass blasted.
Straight up.
Yeah.
You know
Who we be, motherfucker?
Double R, bitch.